What's up, Michigan fans? Welcome back to the Maize and Bluebeard podcast, your daily podcast for all things Michigan football, Michigan basketball, and all Michigan sports. I'm Chris. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to talk a little Michigan Wolverines with me. We got a lot to get to, so we're going to get rolling. We're going to, of course, recap and celebrate Michigan's Sweet 16 win. Talk all about it, including talking about some comments from Yaxel Lendeborg after the game that some people are getting a little salty about that I just don't understand. We're also going to talk about hockey. Did they win and advance in their first game of the NCAA tournament? We'll see how baseball and softball did. We also get to talk some football. A couple of interviews I want to highlight for you guys. One, Carter Meadows sat down with 247 Sports, and he had some interesting things to say, and I was very impressed. And Justice Haynes, Michigan's running back from last year, sat down with some Georgia Tech media and talked about why he went to Georgia Tech. You want to hear what he had to say. And finally, we'll end it with the results from yesterday's question of the day. All that and more on this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Let's go blue, and let's get to it. Go Blue! The Michigan Wolverines men's basketball team defeated Alabama 90-77 in the Sweet 16 to punch their ticket to the Elite Eight. They will play Sunday against Tennessee, who took down Iowa State. I will dive into Tennessee, and I will give you keys to victory in tomorrow morning's video. We'll preview that game. But what a win from Michigan. It was not pretty. The first half was not great. Michigan came out a little sluggish. They didn't play great perimeter defense. They were getting pushed around a little bit on screens, and Alabama was getting wide open looks, and they are a very good shooting team, especially Phylon and their guards. Even their big man, they all can shoot the three. So early on, Michigan was kind of playing right into Alabama's hands. Ademara got pushed around by Alabama all night and never looked comfortable. He seemed lost, confused, out of it. Just not a great game from him. Moritz Johnson, the same. He had a terrible game. He was a little more physical and pushed back, but he could not make anything. He missed probably at least 5 bunnies right at the rim. He couldn't make his free throws, which was a problem for the whole team. But in that first half, Michigan was trying to keep pace with Alabama, play their style, and they were not able to take advantage of their size inside because Morrow was getting pushed around and just was a non-factor. And Johnson got opportunities and couldn't follow through on them. So Michigan had to rely on other things, and they struggled in the first half. But somehow they were only down by 2, which we got to see Dusty May get upset really for the first time, more than I've ever seen him. Michigan had the ball. There was like 20 seconds left. They were going to hold for the final shot. They had a timeout. They talked through what to do. They go out, and with 16 seconds left, Ademara does a crazy shot that's low percentage. And then Alabama gets the rebound, goes down the other end, gets a foul, gets 2 free throws, and Michigan's down 2 at the half. And Dusty May was walked over to Ademara like this. I've never seen him so upset. There's also a point where he took out Moritz Johnson after a couple of bad possessions and sent him to the end of the bench, and he was fired up. So I love seeing that from Dusty May. I love how intelligent and smart he is, how creative. He's just like a mad scientist. But I also love how much he cares about the players and how he works on building their talent, but also their character. And he'll put his arm around them, be there for them, stick up for them. But he also, it's good to see that he'll light them up when they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm sure that halftime speech was interesting because they came out in the second half and they were on fire and tearing it up. In that first half, Trey McKinney and Roddy Gay off the bench were playing great. And Yaxel Lendeborg and Elliot Cadeau played great. But beyond that, it was a struggle. Burnett didn't exist again for most of the game. And then you went in the second half, and they came out strong. They were getting under, through, around those screens, even if they had to do it matrix style. They were getting a hand in every three-point attempt for Alabama, and Alabama's shooting went cold, and they struggled, and they didn't have anything else to do. If they couldn't shoot their threes and make them, they were going to struggle, and they did. Michigan started going on a tear. They started attacking. They started being able to kick it out and knock down threes themselves. They were playing fast-paced, but they were playing smart. They had a few turnovers early in the game, but they ended with only 8. So they really locked down, stopped turning the ball over, played amazing defense. and Yaxel Lendeborg took over. He had a heck of a game. He had 23 points, 4 of 5 from three-point land. He had 7 assists, and he had 12 rebounds. I mean, what a freaking game for Lendeborg. Love Lendeborg. Elliot Cadeau had a great game, 17 points, 7 assists, and only 1 turnover. Are you kidding me? What a game. And then Trey McKinney off the bench had 17, 3 of 5 from three-point land. Roddy Gale, 16, 3 of 4 from 3 points. They were all fantastic. Morris Johnson only had 7 points and 8 rebounds. He had so many opportunities for more than that. Ade Mara had 8 points and only 5 rebounds. They just were a non-factor. Burnett only had 2 points. So they need more out of those guys. But Michigan finds a way to win. As bad as they played in the first half, they're only down 2. And that was only because of Mara's mistake and instead of holding for the last shot. And then in the second half, they tore it up, even without 2 of their best players having a terrible night. So it's just very impressive. But free throw is a problem. Michigan, because they started attacking and because Alabama, because they played such good defense and Alabama was just jacking up threes, Michigan ended up getting the foul advantage in the second half, where the first half it was Alabama. They were attacking more. Phylon was tough to stop. He drives and gets in there. He knows how to flop. He knows how to get away with pushing off if the refs are going to let him. And he went on a tear, like 10 points in a row. But in the second half, Michigan was much better defensively, took that away. And they started getting some calls because they were attacking, but it didn't matter because they shot terrible. I think they were they were shot like 50% in the second half free throws, and then for the game they shot 11 of 20, 55%. That's terrible, horrible. So Michigan needs to fix that because usually if they can hit 80% of the free throws, they're hard to stop. They need to at least get to 70%. You cannot be making 55% of your free throws in an NCAA tournament when you're this good of a team and full of shooters who are great shooters. You cannot do that. They were just missing everything at the free throw line. That needs to get better. But with all that said, terrible free throw shooting, 2 of your star players having a terrible night, playing really half a game as a team well, and you still win by double digits against a very talented team like Alabama. Pretty impressive stuff. Could not be happier. I think Dusty made it a great job adjusting and coaching. And I'm excited to see how they do Sunday. And I just feel like this team, if they don't beat themselves, they're going to be hard for anybody to beat, including Arizona and Duke, if they play their game. So, after the game, Yaxel Lendeborg was being interviewed by CBS or True TV, whatever it was on. I forget, TNT. I don't know. It gets confusing. But they asked him a question, and this was his response. You can see it here.
These first 3 games, you've won by a combined 57 points. What, if anything, can stand in the way of this group?
Ourselves, man. I feel like we're the best team in college basketball. We might be the best Michigan team ever. We're going to try to go for that. We're just going to continue to play our brand of basketball and continue to try to keep winning.
And of course, as usual, because for some reason, because this is how you know that you're a star, is when everyone except your own fans roast everything that you do and talks crud about everything you do. He's a liar. He's annoying. He's pompous. He's arrogant. All these dumb things. He's a thug. Stupid stuff. He's actually a great young man. He's high character. He plays his butt off. It's just dumb. But anyway, I don't have a problem with what he said. Even some Michigan fans, not that many, have a problem with it. He said, I think we're the best team in the country, and I think we could be the best Michigan team. So let's break that down and why it's not a big deal. You should think you're the best team in the country. What's the point of going out and lacing up the shoes and going on the court if you're like, there's other teams that are better than us? You should say, I'm the best player. We're the best team. You want that confidence and that swagger. Heck yeah. And they could be. If they win the national championship, they are the best team. Like, come on now. So there's nothing wrong with that. And then he says, we could be the best Michigan team. Well, Michigan's only won one national championship, and that was in '89 with Glenn Rice, Ramil Robinson, Terry Mills, all those guys. Right now, they're the best team, even better than the Fab Five, because the Fab Five never won a ship. Even Jalen Rose has said that. So Michigan right now has won 35 games this season, more than any team in Michigan history. They're winning every game. They've won every game in the tournament by double digits or more. They've won every game in the tournament by double digits. And they are looking dominant. They have great stars. If they go and they win the national championship, it's at least a conversation between them and that 89 team. So, and you should want to be the best player in Michigan history when you go out on the court. You should want to be the best team in Michigan history. What is the point if you don't? Like, that's what you're trying to do every year. I love it. I love the confidence. And it's like fans from other teams and rivals and everything, people have bashed him so much, even just for dancing, having fun, anything, that you could tell he almost like felt like, oh gosh, I shouldn't have said that. Because right away, you know, how he worded it after it was like he was trying to do a little like, this is really what I meant. Like, but it's so dumb. Just say what you want, man. Be confident. Have some swag. We don't care. We love you. And anybody that has a problem with Yaxel Lendeborg has a problem with me. Which doesn't mean much. But anyway, I think he's fantastic. He's a great player. It's a joy to watch him. Michigan fans have been blessed to get to watch him this year and have him be a part of this team. And I hope that he gets to get that national championship because, like I said, if they don't beat themselves, it's hard for any team to beat them when they are playing elite and playing a full game and everyone's having a great game. So here we go. 3 more games, and then that natty will be ours. Michigan incoming 5-star defensive edge recruit Carter Meadows sat down with Sam Webb from 247 Sports to talk about how his first official, visit with the new staff and everything's gone, what's been going on with him, how he's feeling, all those things. And he had a few interesting things to say that I just wanted to talk about. First, I was very impressed. The interview will be linked down below, but I was very impressed with his composure, with his cadence, with his just demeanor. Just seems like a very calm, collected, cool dude who I think is going to be great, and I think is going to be a leader. So he's already up a few pounds. I mean, he's a long-rangey guy. He's 6'7". I had to do it. And he was, in his 230s, but now he's up to 240. He wants to get up to 245 by the time he comes to school in the summer. And he talked about a lot of cool things. One, he talked about how close the incoming recruits are for the defensive line, which we haven't heard a lot about them because the only one there is Blades. But, I mean, you've got Tariq Boney still to come. You've got Titan Davis still to come. You've got Alejandro Villajaro still to come. And Carter Meadows. And I can't wait to see the impact that they make. But he said some things that I really liked. He talked about how, when he talked about his game, he talked about how he's quick, he's relentless, he's going to get to the passer, but he also talked about how he wants to be a leader on the field and off, how that's a part of what's important to him. And you can just hear it in how he talks, that he carries himself in a way where he is going to be a leader in that room. And I also love that he had been talking to the staff, and they said, it's on you. Playing time will be on you. It's up to you. You got to earn it. And I love that he said, and I don't have any problem with that. It doesn't matter if I'm a 5-star or whatever. That means nothing when I get on campus. I got to put in the work. I got to show them I deserve playing time. And that's the right attitude to have. That's the right attitude you want. So I think he's going to be something special. He also talked about how he really likes how Michigan uses sports science and things like that to make sure that you're taking care of your body, that you are going to be physically fit, and strong enough, and all of those things. He's really impressed with that, and he can't wait to get into that. So just a great young man who, if you watch his tape, was an absolute stud at Edge in high school. I mean, with all that length, and now he's putting on muscle and pounds and getting stronger. And once he gets here and gets to be even more a part of the conditioning program, the sky's the limit for this kid. I was very impressed. Listen to the interview down below. And I can't wait for him and all the other freshmen to get here from that defensive line. So a lot of people worry about the defensive line, but man, we have got some studs coming in across the line. We've got a couple edges, a couple defensive tackles that look like they're going to be stars. And then we've got already a solid foundation in place already here. You put them two together, I think that the defensive line has become a strength real quick under Kyle Whittingham and Jay Hill. The other interview that was very interesting to me was Justice Haynes, Michigan's running back from last year who was looking like a star and then got injured. And then Jordan Marshall showed us how good he is, of course, before he got injured. But anyway, he went to Georgia Tech, of course, transferred there. We were all kind of bummed, but we understood. I mean, it's closer to where he's from. And, with Savion Hyder coming in and the hype with Marshall being so good, maybe he wanted to go somewhere where he could play more. Maybe he wanted to go somewhere where he could be the star of the show and not have to share as many carries, all of those things. And we knew that he was going to get a lot of money, and Michigan probably didn't want to pay that when they have two other running backs they were going to get involved. So anyway, he sat down with media for Georgia Tech, and this is what he said about why he left Michigan. He said that I was ready for a change first. So what could that mean? That could mean a lot of things. You could look at it from different angles. One, he liked the coaching staff that was in place, and the fact that they left, he didn't want to wait and see what the new staff was like. He was ready to go and just find the staff that he wanted right away. You could take it that way. You could take it that he didn't like what was going on at Michigan under Sherrone Moore, and he was ready for a change and to get out of all the drama and garbage. And he had a tough season being injured. He also had to, he knew he was going to have to share carries with Jordan Marshall and maybe even with Savion Hyder. So maybe he was ready for a change where he could be the main star. There's a lot of ways you can take that. But he said, I was ready for a change. And he said, if I was going to come back to college, aka not go to the NFL draft, I wanted to be in an offense where I was going to be able to evolve my all-around game, to be in a pro-style offense, something that's going to get me the most ready I could possibly be for the league. I found a staff with Coach Key that believes in winning and the tradition and culture and being something bigger than myself. So I have a little bit of problems with that part. And, he didn't know yet the coaching staff that was coming in or about what they were about. But, I mean, what this says to me mostly is he wanted to go to a place that was straight up pro style and that was going to run him like a bell cow and give him the chance to show what he can do. And that's okay. And he's from closer to that area. I get that. And they also offered him a lot more money than Michigan was going to be able to do. But to say you're talking tradition, culture, being part of something bigger than you. That's exactly what Michigan is and exactly what Kyle Whittingham and his staff do. So I don't know about saying you're getting that at Georgia Tech and not at Michigan. But hey, he loves where he's at. He's excited. He likes the staff and what they're putting out there. And I get it. They offered him a lot of money. They want him to be the guy, the star. He's going to get a lot more carries there. He won't have to split as much as he would have at Michigan. So I get it. But the part about tradition, culture, all that, it's man, if you just hung around at Michigan, you would have got that. But he wouldn't have got as much money, and he would have to share the workload a lot more at Michigan. So I get it. And I wish him well. I'm excited to watch Georgia Tech. I think they're going to be a fun team between him and Mendoza's brother going there from Indiana to be quarterback. They're going to be a fun team to keep an eye on. So I look forward to that. It was interesting to hear him chat. I'll put the article down below. It was interesting to hear what he had to say. So yeah, I still think it was playing time opportunity closer to home and the NIL deal, but it's interesting to hear what he had to say. The Michigan hockey team defeated Bentley in round 1 of the NCAA tournament. They will move on to the next round, take on Minnesota Duluth, who defeated Penn State 3-1. They'll take on Minnesota Duluth on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. So get ready for that. Michigan won 5-1 over Bentley, and it was a tight game. Bentley played tough and had more shots for most of the game, but Michigan is so talented and so skilled that even if they had less shots, their shots were just better. The first goal from TJ Hughes was amazing. Bentley tried to pass it and clear it up the ice, up into the air, and he just caught it, threw it down, came in and scored. Just a fantastic team. I love watching them. As I said on the post-game live after the basketball game last night, we talked some hockey too. It's so cool to me as a Red Wings fan that Chris Draper's son is on Michigan as well, and he's a very good player. Actually drafted to the Red Wings as well. So get excited for that game. Michigan just looks great. They had great goaltending. They play really good defense, as most Michigan teams in sports do. And their offense is just skilled and relentless. They take really good shots. They're good at what they do. They play together. Another team that really loves to play together. You can tell they enjoy each other. So they're ready for a run, and they're trying to win a ship. They haven't done it since the 90s. It's been a long time, just like men's basketball. So exciting stuff. I cannot wait for the next game. Again, I started a Discord, and I have channels in there and links. You can go find it. The link will be in the description down below. I do live chat during the game in the Discord. You can go in there and join me in that chat room, and we can chat during the game. I'll keep an eye on the channel. I'll let you know tomorrow which ones I'll be able to do. Sometimes life might get in the way, but hopefully I can do hockey and basketball, and we can chat about both while whoever's watching it wants to go in there. But fantastic win by hockey. Cannot wait to see how they do on Sunday. But of course, they're not the only team in the tournament. Women's basketball has their Sweet 16 matchup today against Louisville. They play at 12:30 on ABC against Louisville, so make sure to watch that. Support the women's team. Hopefully they can move on to the Elite Eight as well. Of course, we found out that Michigan's backup point guard, Macy Brown, just like LJ Kaysen, injured her ACL. She's going to be out for the season and probably next year, which is a bummer. She was great off the bench and running the point and allowing Silas Swords to still play off ball where she's very good. So that will be a bummer. But Michigan will just have to carry on, and they'll have to figure it out. And they're a very talented team, and I think that they will. So that's something to keep an eye on as they continue on in the tournament. But support the Michigan women's basketball team. Huge game today at 12:30. Hopefully they can move on. Baseball fell to Rutgers 4-3. They took an early 3-0 lead, but Rutgers slowly just took over and got up 4-3, and Michigan was unable to come back. So Michigan falls to 12-13, 1-6 in the Big Ten. Not a great stretch for Michigan. They started the season so strong in that tournament against some really good competition, and we thought, oh man, this is going to be a great season. But things have just not gone their way. They've lost some close ones, but they just don't at this point appear to have the makings of a team that's going to be able to make some noise. They just don't get the big hits when they need them, and they lose a lot of close games. So hopefully that changes. There's still time. Remember that awesome run Michigan baseball went on not that long ago. They didn't have a great season, but they got hot at the right time and just were so fun to watch down the stretch. So hopefully this team can do that, but it's not looking good so far. Softball team, however, did give us something to be excited about as they beat Purdue in the first game of their weekend series 9-1, which included a grand slam by Lily Valamont. And also, Aaron Hone was 3 for 3 with a 2-run home run, 2 runs scored, but also was the pitcher and held Purdue to the 1 run. So a fantastic game for her. So an awesome game for Michigan softball. They improve to 20-12, 1-6 at the Big Ten, win their first game. Hopefully they can keep it rolling against Purdue the rest of the weekend. Now it's time for the question of the day results. Remember, I ask a question of the day every day. So if you haven't voted on today's question of the day, after this video, head to the community tab and vote. So yesterday, with Michigan basketball being at the forefront right now, and the big men being such a big part of Michigan's success, except last night, Johnson and Mara were not. But I said, who is your favorite big man duo in Michigan history in basketball? You could pick from Glenn Rice and Terry Mills, that national championship team. And I love Terry Mills. He played for the Pistons, loved him in the NBA as well. Juwan Howard and Chris Webber, the Fab Five, of course. Robert Tractor Trailer and Maceo Baston. I loved those guys, and the Revived Five that they never quite met the same heights, but, or somebody else. There was a lot of other good ones. Recently you had Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden. Loved watching them in Dusty May's first year last season. So who were you going to choose? Results are in, and here they are. As you can see here, the winner was the Fab Five, Chris Webber, Juwan Howard. They take the cake. That was everybody's choice. So I agree. They were so much fun to watch. They just, revolutionized basketball. And that was like my earliest memories of being a kid. I really started getting into Michigan basketball, Michigan football, sports around that time of the Fab Five. So I just was all in and excited. So that was a lot of fun. So I would agree that they're my favorite big men duo. But if this team continues their run and goes on and wins the ship, these three, Yaxel Lendeborg, Ade Mara, and Morris Johnson, might become my favorite because they are fun to watch when they're all playing well and playing their best game. And I can't wait to see Johnson and Mara bounce back on Sunday against Tennessee. Thanks for everyone that voted. Again, if you didn't vote yet on today's, go vote now. That's going to do it for this episode of the Amazing Bluebeard podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you taking the time to do so. If it's your first time here and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. You'll get notified whenever I have a live stream coming up or a new video. Also, we're working towards 1,000 subs, and when we get there, I'm going to dye the beard maize and blue, so help us get closer to that. And we would love you to be a part of this community that we're building and we're enjoying talking Michigan sports together in. If you are already a subscriber, I appreciate you. Hit that like button. Let YouTube know that you're enjoying the video and the content so they'll send it out to more people. And please leave a comment. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. I respond to everyone, so I will see you down in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. And until I do, enjoy your Saturday, and as always, Michigan fans, go blue.